Here we are at the Presidio Chapel, and we're so lucky to have Bishop Mariann Budde, who's the Bishop of Washington, all the way from Washington, D.C., all the way out to California. We're so grateful to have her here in the city. She's famous, I think, probably for preaching the sermon after the inauguration in January, and she made a very, very brave statement about support, about the importance of showing mercy on people that's easy to disregard or to single out and scapegoat. So it was a very brave and courageous thing to do. But we're so glad to have you here in the city. And
good to be here.
Yeah, and I think so much about just like your daily life as a bishop. I think many people may not really know what a bishop does. So how do you spend your time as a bishop?
Great to see you. Great to be here. Most of my time as a bishop is in service to the 86 congregations, the schools, the clergy, and the leaders that make up the communities of the diocese. So I'm backup support, administrative support, spiritual encouragement, teaching, a little bit of crisis management, helping to raise up new leaders, but all in the service of the congregations and the communities that they serve. There's a bit of a public role as well as with any clergy person, and that gets magnified from time to time because like you said, because of Washington National Cathedral and its role in the city.
Yeah, it's funny, even as you're speaking, I just think, and that's tens of thousands of people, and so a lot can go wrong, and collectively too. I can imagine like national disasters, the earthquake and the cathedral.
Yeah, disasters, all kinds of things, and just the smaller realities of life. I mean, a lot of churches, it's as simple and as overwhelming as what we do when the roof caves in and we need a new roof, or what happens when the clergy person has an emergency in their own life. All those things, just sort of tending to the pastoral and communal needs of and the collective witness that we share.
Yeah, I love the way that you describe too that public role. I mean, it's so important. And I know as you were preparing to preach after the inauguration, I mean, so much was changing. We really didn't know how things were going to be. Like, how did you decide what to say, and then how did you find the courage to be able to say something like that?
Well, I had a lot of time to think about it because we knew we were going to do the service in a particular way even before the election.
Oh, great.
And that our goal was to have a prayer service for the nation. The theme would be to pray for unity after what are typically pretty bruising, divisive times. So I knew I was doing that, and then after President Trump was elected, I knew that I would be offering it in that context. So I just started thinking about what is unity? What is unity? It's not everybody agreeing. It's not everyone belonging to the same party. It's what are the things that hold us together beneath all of those things? And then what are the things that we need if we're going to pray for unity? What are some of the things that we need to commit to? And that's what I started thinking about. Respecting the dignity of every human being, the need to be honest in both our private but also our public discourse. Humility, we all make mistakes, we all trying to do this together, and then mercy as a value, not as something that only powerful people give to those with less power, but something that we all need from time to time.
Yeah, that we all need, and we can all offer too as a kind of gift to each other.
But there were certain people that had been singled out almost incessantly, both during the campaign and then also as the president assumed the mantle of leadership, that I thought were real distortions of what we know to be true about the people that we know and love, both within the migrant community and certainly among LGBTQ people, and especially the way trans people had been singled out as for such cruelty.
Yeah.
And I felt like
that's been what I think has been most heartbreaking for me is people who are not able to defend themselves, people who are in a small minority and just being singled out and being scapegoated. It's heartbreaking. And that's why I just think, I mean, there's so few chances for ordinary people to be heard, and we just don't hear very many people saying, hey, talking about immigrants in that way is cruel. It's dishonest to say that everyone who's an immigrant is a criminal.
That's not true.
And it was, I think that's part of what people needed was to hear a different perspective, a different view, and to just reminded of our common humanity. But I wonder if you were surprised by the response that that you got. I mean, I don't think I couldn't have predicted it. If I just saw that sermon and you showed me a video of that sermon, I wouldn't have guessed all the things that, but how was it, and what surprised you? And
well, I mean, I was nervous. There was a lot of things about that time I couldn't predict, but if someone had said to me, this is how the country is going to respond, I would never have been able to predict. It really has been both, initially there was a lot of negative criticism along with the positive gratitude. Most of that has subsided now, and people, like you said, there were still people who want to thank me for seeing them, and seeing them as the full, glorious human beings that they are.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like that's what Jesus did. I mean, I just think of that line from Luke. This man welcomes sinners and eats with them.
Right, and he went around doing good.
Yeah.
He was just that's our model, and kindness.
My heart goes out to you. I mean, I just think of all the dioceses in the country, the one that probably has the highest percentage of federal employees is probably your own diocese. Like, how has that been? I mean, to have so many thousands of people kind of had the rug pulled out under them. It almost seems like a pastoral emergency of a huge scale.
Yeah, it's devastating, and it's unfolding still. People have been losing their jobs dramatically, and in large numbers, in groups across different segments of the federal government, and now contract workers, and also the district government of Washington D.C. So, yeah, it's. I think right now we're still in a time of shock and deep grief, some anger. People have dedicated their lives to certain segments of the government that are now being dismantled or destroyed. So I don't think we know yet, but right now every congregation is just doing everything they can to be pastorally supportive, and we're trying to. It reminds me of like the first months of COVID, actually, when just everything needed to shift into a different mode, and so we're there now. And also we have a very large migrant population, and so there's a tremendous amount of concern there as well. So pastorally, my heart is there. I'm here, but my heart is there.
I'm glad you because in a way you have pastoral responsibility to us here.
Yeah, no, I feel that way. I feel that, but
But you're right. I can imagine just even being away for a few days.
I was just talking to your counterpart, the dean, this morning at the cathedral, and the cathedral congregation. They're just trying to surround all the people who are really trying to figure out what their next step in life will be.
Well, I mean, let me describe the scene to you, but the Bella lecture, the inaugural Bella lecture, you gave it in Berkeley on Wednesday. The church they originally were going to allow 500 people in because it doesn't fit. And instead they let 600 people in,
really
had to turn people away, and then had 1,000 people watching online at the start. I felt this. I mean, there's so many people there who I love so much, and I could see tears in their eyes. But overall, leaving that room, I've just felt such a tremendous sense of hope. And I wonder if you can talk about what's giving you hope these days, and what signs of goodness do you see breaking through all this?
Right. It's not that much different from any other time in life, but particularly in hard times, hope comes in the way other human beings care for the way we care for one another. And seeing someone else speak or act with love and with courage always wants me to do the same. It's catchy, it's contagious.
That's right. I love
and so there's that, and then some of the more predictable ways that God breaks through to us, and the beauty of nature. It's beautiful here, by the way. It's a practice. I think it's a spiritual practice to be a hopeful person, because it's so easy to be cynical or discouraged. I mean, you would be made of stone if you didn't feel those things, but to choose hope and to look for it.
I love that, because I've heard you say a few times about how someone's courageous act, and you talked about the bishop standing up for migrants from California, and I love the way that you recognize that hope is contagious.
It's so
and
contagious.
I think you are like a super spreader of hope.
Well, I'm happy to do that, but I'm also gaining hope from other people.
Yeah, I'm hearing your stories.
Yeah, because it's something that I need to see. And I feel, at this stage in my life, I have a real responsibility to those coming up behind me,
Yeah.
and they don't need they need my encouragement and my hope and everything I can do to make it just a little bit easier for them as they face what their lives are.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're so glad to have you.
Thank
And
you.
this is Bishop Mariann Budde from the Diocese of Washington. And my name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.